I'm gonna bet right now that if you're watching this video, you're passionate about fitness, you're excited to bring your gift to this world, and the thing that wakes you up in the morning so excited is taking care of people and helping people transform. Just a guess. But like most trainers, helping people and launching a career start to conflict for your time and attention because they're two different skill sets. Hi, I'm Peyton Hughes. I'm the CEO of Gymnazo, a seven-figure fitness facility here in San Luis Obispo, California, as well as co-founder of Gymnazo EDU, where we obsess about open sourcing the very strategies and techniques we've used to sell over $7 million of fitness services so that we can help empower trainers and coaches to be set free, to be the most amazing coach possible, and to not be stressed or worried or take a really long time trying to hash out what strategy is the best, how can you grow and groom your career. And that's what we're here to do. So today I want to share with you 6 strategies that we have used successfully to attract the right kind of clients to our fitness business. And for me, this topic is so fascinating because it's the number one thing personal trainers are looking for. It's how do I sell people fast? And here's the truth. If you just want 3 people through your door, possibly ideal clients, unlikely that they are, they may or may not ask for a refund, they may or may not be here next month, there's probably a faster YouTube strategy video that you could tap into. But if you're here for sustainable practices that actually create systems and processes that'll serve you for years to come and set you free to run off of word of mouth marketing, which is, yes, still possible in the digital space, then this is the video for you and you're in the right spot. So before I jump into the 6 strategies to help you identify and gather ideal clients, I first just want to say if you're the kind of person that loves quick, actionable, educational videos on fitness business, fitness programming, coaching, skill building, etc., then I want you to like and subscribe to this channel right now. Every time you do, it just continues to affirm us that this is the direction we want to take our content and with the heart to serve the fitness community. So thank you for doing that. So let's talk about the 6 steps to generating your ideal clients consistently. Step 1. Find and identify a profitable niche. Get specific. Don't go after everybody. Go for specific kinds of people. We'll dive into more of that in a minute. The second thing you want to do is own your story. Get very clear on who you are, why it's important to work with you, what makes you uniquely set up to provide value to these ideal clients that you're seeking. Third, I want you to talk about a clear offer. So I want it to be very obvious, very straightforward, foolproof on how to engage your services. Make it easy. That's number 3. Number 4, I want you to front with value. I want you to pack out tips, tricks, value, freebies, you name it, with consistency across the platforms that speak to you. 5, I want you to brag. But the good news is you don't have to brag about yourself. I want you to brag about your clients' transformation, subjective, objective, their wins, their celebrations, their goals achieved, the cool things that they're doing. It doesn't have to be you fronting for yourself, but you do want to prop them up and celebrate them in a public way. 6, I want you to identify and leverage strategic partnerships. This will help you build your audience and continually attract new eyeballs on your channels, on your content, which will help you consistently close more and more clients. So there you have it. Those are my 6 strategies. And let me guess, you're probably thinking, Peyton, I'm already doing a couple of those. Most people are doing at least 1, maybe 2 of these. The issue is that somewhere down the road, we've forgotten or we've gotten away from 1 or 2 of these as reminders or new concepts that could change the game. See, the way these strategies work is not in isolation, it's in the collective power of all 6 working together that creates that power in your marketing and sales. It's going to supercharge your ability to capture new clients. And that's what I want for you. So if you feel like you've got some of these down, rock on. But if you feel like you aren't executing all 6 of these, you need to pay attention to this video, because the execution of all 6 at once is where the magic happens. So let's talk about niching down. This is the biggest hurdle of all of them. And it's why we start, when we talk about selling clients, we literally start with messaging. And you can't do messaging until you know who you're talking to. So do you know who you're talking to? And no, it is not anybody with a heartbeat that has money to spend. Let's just scratch that off of your list of good concepts when it comes to marketing, because all that's going to secure is your obscurity in the world of fitness, and that is not something that you're interested in. What would be better would be to get super uncomfortable with the fact that you might really only need 10 clients a month to pay all of your bills and be super happy. Let's just say you sign 10 new people every month. 2 of them replace 2 people you lost last month, and 8 of them add more clients to the stack. After 6 months of that, you've got this super thriving business. You don't need 10,000 clients to be profitable in fitness. But you know what's super magical is having 50 like-minded, same kind of energetic tribe that that lights your heart up to serve, and you get to go and create value for that crew. If you want that, then you're going to need to be super uncomfortably specific about the types of people that you want to work with. And here's why. You need to be top of mind. The biggest reason to niche down is, well, I guess there's 2 big reasons to niche down. One is that you dominate a section of the huge world of fitness and wellness. Like, where's your little real estate in the marketplace? Find it, claim it, dominate it. And the second reason you want to do that is because you're going to want to create a content plan around it. And it is so much easier to create a content plan around dads who golf than it is anyone with a pulse with money. Whoa, yeah, you can have endless topics, but it's super scattered and very hard to create traction around a singular message. So clarity is magic in marketing and selling. You want to be clear on who you serve first, and then we're going to kind of go from there. So how do you find and identify a profitable niche? Profitable doesn't mean that nobody else is doing it. Here's another big issue is if you see people creating your niche, like they're out there going, I want first-time moms, and we're a stroller squad, and like they do stroller workouts with their new babies. And you're like, oh gosh, somebody else is doing it in my marketplace. The good news is they just proved that it works. Stop getting into that scarcity mindset that just because somebody else is doing it, there isn't room for you. That does not serve you. There are clients out there in abundance. There are clients sitting on a couch, binge watching Netflix shows 8 hours a day, who with 1 hour back into their life could totally change the way they're interested in spending their free time. You don't want to get sidetracked because of competition. Don't worry about that. What I'm going to share with you in today's video is all about you, your uniqueness, your heart, your passion, and really connecting to the right people. And if you can do that, you'll never have to worry about competition. Yeah, you might have to tool up once in a while on some new social media techniques, but you can do that. When you get this core concept down, it's going to be life-changing for your business. So how you can do this easily is to identify the 3 clients that you've worked with that you would love to build a business around. If you don't have experience working with clients yet in fitness, that's okay. I want you to think about the 3 people in your network that you personally know who you would love to be your new clients. I want you to think about them from a demographic standpoint and a psychographic standpoint. Demographics are things like what's their age, their gender, their geographic location, what's their education level, where are they in their life, are they married, divorced, empty nesters, single, what have you. Where do they travel, etc. Like those are some easy, quick things you can get. Psychographics are more about buying behaviors. So technically I would move travel into that group. But that would be things like what cars do they drive? What brands do they wear? What matters to them in their home? Where do they go out on date nights? What are they willing to spend money on? And you can learn a lot about people, how they vote, what publications they listen to, and what's their favorite TV shows. Like you can really get into this exact kind of person that you want to serve. So let me give you some examples of niche down groups. It could be that you've really tuned in with moms going through postpartum depression and having a sense of loss around themselves, a massive shift in their sacrifice and in serving others, and realizing that they don't have enough energy throughout their day to really be vibrant and happy. And so they end up feeling sad and lonely and repressed. Those might literally be the adjectives you have to use because you're going to learn how to speak their language, because that's part of this whole thing. That might be one. Or you geek out about weekend warrior cyclists competitively training for epic Tour de France races, and you're just so into the cycling scene that you're going to develop and curate a unique training program to complement that. So you're into super ambitious, laser focused, type A, intense, predominantly masculine demographic over 35. Done. Like, I bet you there's 100 people like that within proximity to you. I bet even if there's 20 people like that, if you become the go-to person, those 20 clients could set you up this year. There's so many other ones. It could be grandparents that just want to be able to pick up that grandkid, where they're scared of having a walker, and they're like, nope, we're pushing that off as long as possible. And you're like, you know what? You're going to walk down those stairs without reaching for that rail with confidence while having a conversation with somebody else. Let's do it. And it's about stability and mobility and balance. And you're like so excited about it. So those are some examples. When you pick a niche, I want you to do a heart gut check. When you describe that client in its granular form, does your heart light up? Does it energize you to think about serving this demographic for the next 5 years? After a few years, you can expand and widen or shift or target a different demographic and bring them in with a different flair. But you want to obsess hard in the short term on this niche. And then I need you to know their language. When they describe their problem, what words are they using? If they say, I'm lost, I'm confused, and you start marketing, I'll give you confidence, get away from your fear, they're not going to connect to that because that's not what they're feeling. So you need to tune in. You can do this by casually interviewing, listening. Anytime somebody is telling you about the problem that they're having, what are they saying? What language are they using? How are they describing their state of being? And then get them to talk about their aspirational identity. Who are they wanting to become? What is the thing that they need? What's the transformation? Geek out on this. Like, this is why this is step one. If you do this right, the rest of this becomes super easy, and we're going to fly through the rest of this content. But I really want you to get this down, because this is the secret. This is the foundational work that you need to do to really feel a huge relief around your marketing efforts. And stop feeling like you're spinning your wheels, going again and again, reaching and grasping for the newest, next best strategy, and feeling like nothing is working, everything is random, because we know when it's random, the effort is random, the results are random. And we are not here for random results. We're here for consistent, reliable results. All right, so the second thing I want you to do is to own your story. There is a narrative about you and your life experience that will uniquely position you to be relatable, to be trustworthy, to be seen as credible and likable with your exact niche market. So what stories do you have as you look back over your life to date that endear you to people, where you felt similar feelings, or where you've had similar problems to solve, where you found something And you can be vague about this piece if you like. And it created this really transformational moment. Features tell, stories sell. If you really want to sell people, you don't just tell them the features of your service, where you are, how much it is, how many cardio versus strength, whether you're a hybrid of bar, yoga, swim, cycle, and jujitsu all in one indescribable program. No one cares about that. You know what they care about? Hey, so-and-so used to be 100 pounds overweight, and they went through depression. They were on medication for 5 years. They woke up one day and just said, enough is enough. And they got up and they made baby steps. They built habits. They layered habits. They clawed their way into a place of health and vitality. And now they care about someone like me because I'm still there and they've come through it. And now I'm endeared to them. And then that coach stands out to me over the skinny minis that never were overweight a day in their life. That's the power of a story. You know what else is important? Just because you may not have as dramatic a story as that, and you might sit there and go, but Peyton, I don't have that kind of story. What story can I tell? The stories that you can tell could be something like, gosh, I just had this day, and I'm going to bring you into a minute in my life where I had no energy and I had a really bad attitude. And then I'm going to tell you the story of the very next day where I was in a similar state of mind, but I had worked out earlier that morning. And I'm going to show you the apples to apples, because right there, the difference between the way I responded and felt had everything to do with carving out 4% of my day, which was that 1 hour of fitness. And there's a story. It doesn't have to be your life transformation. It can be a story, but that story doesn't come across as judging them for where they are. You're bringing them into your world of relatability and humanity, and that screams authenticity and care and heart, and that gets people's attention. In a world full of fraudulent six-pack 17-year-old Instagram stars with 5,000 bought for followers, you don't need to be that. You just need to know what stories bring you into relationship and connection with the people whose lives you're trying to change. Identify those, and then I want you to tell those stories in emails, in videos, in Facebook Lives, in photos, a photo of you then, a photo of who you are now, and what you don't see about that person in the transformation. And I want you to pump those stories out until you could regurgitate it for 30 seconds in an elevator. You're so sick of telling those stories, and only then have you told them enough. Beat those stories into the ground. Because those stories, however frequently you're telling them, you're still fighting for attention in a world that's screaming at all of us for our attention. So you might have to tell it 50 times for the right person to hear it once. And you know what? They may have to hear it 2 more times for them to make a purchasing decision with you. Keep telling those stories because stories sell. And the last thing I'll say on this is people buy coaches. Seriously, I need you to hear me on this. They do not buy your coaching program. They do not buy your workouts. They buy you. They buy from you, because even if they follow 50 fitness coaches out there, you're the one they feel connected to. You're the one whose kids they see on Instagram stories, and they're like, I love those little kids. They're so cute. And when they need to get fit, they want to support you and your family because they feel like they know you. That's the power of social media. That's the power of good marketing. And so remember and anchor in, the more you bring people into you and your stories, the more they feel that connection, and we buy from people we feel connected to. The third thing you need to do is have a very clear offer, a very easy to understand way to pull the trigger and work with you. I don't know if it's book a 3D maps, which is what it is for us, or a 3D assessment. And it's just that simple. Here's our schedule, here's your schedule, and book it and we'll pay for it. I don't know if it's download this intake, fill it out. I don't know if it's just sign up anywhere on the app and we'll meet you in person. I don't know if it's one-on-one health coaching, but you want to be very clear. You don't want to have here 16 membership options to start with. Which one's right for you? If you do have 16 membership offers, just don't talk about those. Talk about the promotion that you're running that month. Make it super simple on how to get in connection with you. And the simpler and easier it is to understand, you reduce the friction that it takes for people to go from I'm thinking about buying to I'm your newest client. Reduce that friction. Have a clear offer. And then talk about that offer every 10 posts, every other email. Have some frequency around how often you bring up the way and the opportunity that people have to work with you. And that's the way you got to look at it. You are not here to be a slimy salesperson and strong arm people into buying from you. That doesn't feel good for anybody. And I know if you're watching this video, that's a cringeworthy moment for you. What you could instead do, and the mindset that's so critical here, is you are delivering an opportunity for people to partner with you, and you're sharing that option with them. You're giving them the chance to know how to work directly with you. And when you serve it up that way, it's just about timing and whether they hear it that time. And the more often you do it, in balance to the value you're going to deliver, the more easy it is for people to remember, oh, this is so-and-so. They run this program. I think they're offering blah, 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 blah. And then somebody else is telling someone about how to work with you because it's so easy to remember. There's no friction there. The fourth thing you need to do is give value and really do it consistently. Here's another real interesting thing in the fitness industry. A lot of people live stream free workouts. That's not the free I'm talking about. When you sell workouts, you don't necessarily live stream for free. And if you do, it's very infrequent and it's not something people can build a consistent routine around. Otherwise, you're actually doing yourself, you're becoming your own competition. But I do believe in giving value. So if you're not doing live stream workouts, what kind of value are you offering? Let's give some ideas. Some things that you need to be thinking about would be tips. Tips around your niche, right? Not just as a general fitness human, where you're now talking about intermittent fasting because you've just started it 2 weeks ago. You don't know anything about it, but you read a blog. Hey, guess what? That makes you just like any other client in the world that thinks they're an expert after reading one blog post, which hurts all of us in the industry. I'm talking about something a little bit better, which is like things like tips, tricks, hacks, strategies. I want you to find ways to add value. What does your ideal client care about? And if it's not exactly around health and fitness, what's an auxiliary thing they care about that you care about that brings them into connection? So the way we look at content, because that's always the thing when it comes to selling and marketing, is I don't know what to say. I just posted twice last week on Instagram with 2 likes, one of which was my mom. What else is there? People only follow accounts that serve them. People only pay attention to newsletters that give them something. So what are you going to give them? Well, what do they want? Find out what they want. This goes back to knowing that niche inside and out like your best friends. Once you have unpacked that, it makes it really easy to show up and give value. It might be that you run a really specific mom's running group for women who want to run their first marathon. Like that's your demographic. Great. You're super niche. Amazing. Okay, what does that demographic care about? It might be that you're not a nutritionist. Okay, who is a nutritionist in town who can give you 5 tips? You throw their email on the bottom. They're super excited about it because they're getting access to your clients, and you're curating or brokering somebody else's knowledge that serves your client and continues to make you the go-to resource. You don't have to be the expert on everything, but you become the conduit for everything they care about to reach their goal. And they should be able to, here's something I struggled with for years, which was what's free content and what's paid content. And there's such a temptation to guard and protect and cover every intellectual piece of property that you think someone's going to pay you for. And you've guarded it so well, most of the time nobody knows it's there, which means they're not buying from you. Or you tease it so much and never actually tell anybody you're just gimmicky and nobody trusts your content and you're seen as sleazy. So what do you do with that? Here's what you do. If somebody pays you for the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way to Z, that's what you bundle into a paid for service. It's the sequence. It's how it fits together. It's the completeness of it, all laced together, tied in a bow. If somebody wants something for free, you can extract H. Boom, there's H, a YouTube video. Boom, there's I, a little reel in Instagram. There's J in your inbox. And they're scrambled it all up. It's chaotic in the sense that it's not sequential in terms of it. So they could in theory follow you for 10 years and piece it together. But what people pay for is accountability and results and getting from point A to point B faster with somebody than by themselves. Let's get serious about what people are buying from you. It's not how you do the alphabet. It's making sure that they do it with you. That's really important. So I want you to add value, and I want you to do it consistently. So I want you to commit to a frequency of posting or writing or talking about your business. And even if it's twice a week, never miss it. Be freakishly committed to it. And you can build from there. You start with where you can be successful, even if it's not what you consider optimal. Start consistently on a small level and just build over time, adding to it when you're able to. Because eventually, like anything, if we do it enough, it becomes easy. And that's what I want for you, is this marketing to be like a muscle that you're developing so that you can use it and you're not sitting there thinking about it as much because you've already done the work to build it. The last thing I'll say about offering value is there's a really fun ways to do where you're offering value and there's no strings attached. You've got to do that. You've got to tell stories without asking for a sale. That's important. You've got to add tips and tricks without telling them they have to do something. That's important because that builds a foundation of trust and your credibility. But it feels good to throw a freebie out there. Be more intentional. Brand it. Make it nice. Make it thorough. And create something that you could say, hey, I just launched a 4-part training series on how to cut the crap out of your shopping list. Or I just gave you the 6 exercises you can do to get those abs that you're really wanting for before your vacation. And let's just say like that's your video training. And you're willing to give it for free in exchange for collecting an email address. So I want you to think about how many people have asked you for your email address. What were the things that you got that made you feel good about giving it? And what were the things you got that made you go, that was not worth it? I want you to tailor your freebies around blowing their minds, because here's what's going on subconsciously. If that's the value they give for free, what are they going to do when I pay them? Whoa. Mic drop. Because why? Because they're literally talking themselves into becoming your client based alone on the value. And that's where the law of reciprocity kicks in, which is if I continue to get from you without you asking anything from me, guess what I want to do? Give to you. So that's why you give value, and you give them an opportunity to give you something, aka buy your service or sign up for something. Because you're allowing them to tune into the law of reciprocity and feel really good doing so. The 5th thing I want you to do is brag. And I know that there is also a limitation in the training world on there's either like, heck yeah, I'm going to brag, I'm the best thing ever. Or more likely, if you're watching this video, you're like, I hate bragging about myself. Like talking about myself makes me want to throw up. Nope, I try to avoid it at all costs. It's as painful as talking about politics on Thanksgiving dinner. Okay, first of all, I'm going to share with you the best hack about doing this in a way that feels really good for you, because I don't think you should ever do a strategy that feels really viscerally wrong. I'm very strong on that. If I share anything anytime that just sits really wrong with you, it's not for you, and that's okay. Employ what you feel good with, and then ditch what doesn't work, so long as you're not just falling victim to a limiting belief, which only you could really know. I can't tell you that right now because I'm just talking to a camera on a screen. So I want to talk to you real quick about how do you brag without wanting to throw up. It's super, super simple. Take yourself completely out of it. You are going to brag, but you are not going to brag about you. It is not about you to begin with. Your entire marketing strategy is to obsess about your clients. So when you have clients winning, when you have clients hitting goals, when you have clients really making transformations in their life, whether it's subjective, like they're happier, it's harder to measure, but they're really excited about it, or it's objective, they lost X amount of weight, or they before and after pictures that are super fun to watch or look at. I want you to sing their praises publicly. I want you to anchor into the fact that you might be your client's only cheerleader. And that's one of your gifts in their life. If that's true, let's say you're the only person high-fiving them on the regular and encouraging them in their lives, I want you to get out there and sing their praises as long as they give you clearance to. Obviously, I always say ask for permission, or strip their name out of it and just brag about a client. Guys, I just got to tell you about a win that came this week, and I am so proud of this client. They prefer not to be named, but I just got to tell you this thing they did, and I'm so proud. You are bragging. You are promoting your transformation that you give your clients and the result, but you aren't doing it with, hey, guess what? I got this certification and now I'm able to do X, Y, Z, and it totally worked with these clients. Check me out. Yeah, that's why everybody feels dirty doing that. That's not what you want to do. You want to create it about the client. Go back to the client. They are the heartbeat of the organization and your business. Get obsessed with them and sing their praises. And I bet you can do that with a really pure energy and a really amazing heart. And when that heart and that energy comes through that screen, that email, or that client conversation or potential client conversation, people get hooked. They're like, that person's so awesome. Like, just the way they care, the way they can't even describe. They just love you. And that's really important because your energy is aligned with uplifting others. And when you're uplifting others, it feels good. It feels right. And it transcends awkward. It gets you into that really cool space where people just feel energized listening to you. And if they feel energized listening to you, they're going to pay to work with you. Because they're going to be like, that's my person. When it's time for me to do this, like, they're the name that comes up for me. They're freaking awesome. I love how much they love their clients. Oh, I want them to love me too. That kind of stuff is real, and it's really, really important in your business. All right, the sixth and final thing I need you to do is to start identifying strategic partnerships. So these are people who offer a different service than you, so you're not competing at all. That's what makes them strategic and partners. Is like, let's just say you offer fitness, but somebody else offers supplements. Somebody else offers intuitive eating. Somebody else offers a totally different age demographic than you. It could be even the same type of service, but they're a little bit different. But they have kid programs, but the parents are there, and the parents are your ideal clients. So they have a Facebook group of 2,000 people, most of which are parents thinking about their kids, but those parents are actually your sweet spot. Like, I want you to think about all the different auxiliary type of services that you could upsell to your clients, and your clients would be served by learning about. Well, guess what? If those are strategic to you, chances are high that your services are strategic to those groups as well. And if those groups have curated YouTube followings, Instagram followers, Facebook groups, email lists, by partnering with those groups in a way that serves those groups, you're doing a few very important things. First of all, you're giving value, which is your whole thing, which is to give a ton of value, but you're going to give a value with an opt-in for to get that deliverable, whether it's a training, a PDF, be part of a 5-day challenge, access this promo code. They need to give you an email address to get the thing that they want. That gives you and builds your list. It builds your audience. They have to go and like your page to be entered in to win this whole thing, whatever it is. That also gives you a growth in your audience and your reach and your ability to impact, which is really important. But you know what else it gives? It gives the person that runs the other service or the other Facebook group fresh content. Not having to sit there and produce another Facebook Live for 45 minutes because you came and said, hey, so-and-so, I love this group. I love what you're doing. I noticed that you've been really honing in on intuitive eating. I train cyclists. And there's some interesting nutritional pieces around cycling that I'd love to invite you to talk to my group about. And I'd be curious to know if your group could be served with what it looks like for endurance training and how that impacts their nutrition, considering that you've built an entire group around people concerned about how to eat well for their energy and their life activities. Do you have any cyclists in your group? I think you do. Great. I think you got about 50 cyclists. What if I came and did a Facebook Live in your group and I shared about the stress around training and what are the physical demands on their time and their energy and their physicality, and then you were able to curate your own conversation around the intuitive eating piece, but now they're thinking, oh, cool, I already love Nicole for the intuitive eating, but I've been wanting to get back into cycling. Well, now I see Trainer Joe as my way to do that. And you've cross-pollinated your audience with that strategic partner's audience. And you can do this all the time. But the best pitches are when you really understand that person and their goals for their audience. You've paid enough attention to their content to know where there might be some gaps that you could strategically fill. And you're just a super nice person wanting to serve. And if you can come at somebody like that, you're going to be a relief and a welcomed relief to them, not an annoying person who's clearly just trying to build their email list. You are trying to build your email list. That's not your only reason. Tap back into that ideal client you are here to serve, called to serve, and passionate about serving, and suddenly that pitch doesn't feel sleazy at all. I don't want to forget about magazines and publications and blogs that are curated. All of those content creators and publishers and directors are under so much pressure to create new, fresh content that you just paying attention and continuing to say, hey, I could do a story about that, or hey, if you want to cover this in the local news, I'd love to be the person to talk about this, 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 and this. There's so many ways that you can get on podcasts. You can get on Facebook Lives. You can help somebody in their challenge. But you want to start identifying who this network is of strategic partners that you're willing to collaborate with. And you're willing to invite them into your space. You're willing to jump into Clubhouse with them. You're willing to do a live interview for your Facebook group that you then put on your YouTube channel. There's so many options for you to use and leverage with class and care the audiences other people have worked really hard to build in a way they're really excited about. So those are my 6 strategies for you to start to use. Like I said in the beginning of this video, my guess is that you've already done a few of these. You might be reminded about 1 or 2, and you might be missing 1 or 2. To me, the power of this model is all 6 working together. All 6 are really important. I did them in what I consider the sequence where it makes the most sense and can get you the most results. But if you do this right, it'll be a decent amount of work in the beginning. You might go, gosh, I'm spending 5 hours a week marketing. You know what? Eventually you might be able to streamline it and get it a little bit more manageable, or hire somebody to help you because you have a super clear vision for how you're doing it. You can shoot your little videos on your phone and batch work, a whole different training we could do. But I hope today that you learned something. If you did, I'd love to know what it is in the comments below. And once again, if you can like and subscribe to this channel and giving us feedback about this video content, we care so much about feedback. We have built an entire career around listening to the voice of the customer, which in this case is you as a potential client of ours. We want to know what you care about. We want to know what lands for you. We want to know what new topics you'd be interested, because we do build content based on what people leave in the comments below. Have an awesome day.